The Spanish Announce Table.
Episode 352, take 2 of the Spanish Announce Table. Our streaming software decided to have an update, and it didn't actually work. Had to revert it and get it going. But that's what we do for you. And I say we because Tom is back with us. Back from vacation from Philly and Boston and wherever else.
I went to Philadelphia for a couple days, went to Boston for a couple days, watched you on the live stream last week. You did a fantastic job.
Thanks.
Left a couple comments, heard your comments about my comments.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice.
Yep.
Like that interaction. Enjoy it. Might do it more often if I'm not on the show. But yeah, I'm back. We went to a couple baseball games. Now we're going to take up the challenge, my wife and I, of trying to visit all the baseball stadiums in the United States of America. So it should be fun. And Canada, because Toronto has a baseball team as well.
Is your wife a baseball fan?
Yeah, I think so. Here's what we were talking about with baseball stadiums and baseball games. It's a good representation of a city without having to do all 60 things that are in New York or all 30 things that are in Boston, right? Like you go to a game, you get a good feel of who the people are. Obviously, the vendors are going to be some good representation of, like, for example, Tony Luke's was in Philadelphia, a good cheesesteak place. So you got that. In Boston, you had some Boston cream pies for desserts. So it's like, it's a good encompassing feeling of what the city is.
Right.
And also you get to watch some sports that you don't have to, like, oh my God, is someone going to die? Now, obviously, you know, some things could happen, but like when you watch football sometimes,
oh no,
it can be uncomfortable.
I've seen a book before that covers like all the ways people have died in baseball parks over the years.
Well, no, what I'm saying was with the sport, it's not as like you don't have to worry about the athletes as much, right? Like if a wide receiver goes across the middle and takes a huge hit, we don't have to go like, well,
is he going to get up?
He has insurance. Yeah, like hopefully his kids know another person to take care of them, right? So with baseball, it's a good just easygoing thing. And another thing that we were doing is also taking tours of the stadium. So that's also fun. I'm a big fan, by the way, of the movie The Town. Have you ever watched The Town with Ben Affleck? It came out in like 2010.
I mean, I know what it is, but I haven't really.
Oh, I love it. It's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Well, Fenway has a lot of spots that was filmed. The movie was filmed in Fenway in a few different spots. So I got to visit those and see that. So that was cool. But yeah, now I'm back and now I'm ready to talk some pro wrestling.
I'm excited. I am excited. Yeah, man. You're back. We're ready to talk some pro wrestling. We had an Extreme Rules. We had an AEW Dynamite that was off the charts. We had some GCW with some title changes going on there. I'll get a little.
Do I point this way?
Yeah, other way. See, look at that, Effie rules, man. Or Effie is what is the like? Effie's okay or whatever. What do they say?
Effie is fine.
Effie is fine. That's what it is. Effie is fine. Yeah, man. I'm super excited to get to talk about it, and what I'm really excited to talk about is what you want to talk about. And I'm talking about you listening to my voice, watching me on the YouTube or watching back. You know, if you weren't watching us live. We talk about what you want to talk about, and you can do that a couple ways. You can be chatting with us right now as we're doing the live show on the YouTube. Nobody's doing that yet. Somebody will. Or, yeah, Tom?
Hey, some late breaking news that just dawned on me.
Oh.
A little bit of personal news for the show. This Sunday, we're going back out to St. Louis to see Glory Pro Wrestling. Guess who will be on that card?
Effie will be on that card. That's right.
On that card.
That's right.
We got Effie, Danhausen, Warhorse, and then the legend. And if you've been watching AEW recently, you know how much of a badass this motherfucker is. Minoru Suzuki. Come on.
Well, also, notwithstanding, you have pro wrestling's greatest dad, Dan the Dad. Oh my goodness. There were some things that happened on this trip that I didn't know how to handle. I need some fatherly advice. I'm excited to talk to Dan the Dad to get my life in order. But with that being said, look out for some great content as we go out to Glory Pro Wrestling this Sunday. Check out the YouTubes, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, all of the fucking things that you consume. We're on it. And we're going to have some fun stuff for you. We are going to have some fun stuff for you. We also, the day before that, we're going to be back at our old pals, the Up Down Kansas City bar for a non-wrestling event. We're going to be announcing the basketball tournament that they're going to be doing there. And I can't tell you how fun this sounds like it's going to be, right?
Yeah, and for those listening, Tim said that correctly. Basketball. It's based off the 1990s movie that featured both of the South Park creators, also Carmen Electra, Jenny McCarthy, had Bob Costas, Al Michaels. Oh, so many motherfuckers in that movie. Great fun movie that if you haven't seen it, I'd definitely say at least take out 2 hours of your day to check it out. It's really fun. But yeah, we're going to be hosting that at Up Down Kansas City, so come out, check that out. But with all that now being said, now let's get to
hashtag Tweet the Tables, the other way you can get involved and tell us what to talk about, right? See, we are the voice of the voiceless, right? CM Punk says he's no longer that. I don't know that he ever really was. We were. We are.
He was.
Okay, so maybe he was, but we are now. We picked up the ball and we're running with it. We're the podcast of the people. We give you the stage first with hashtag Tweet the Table. New graphic even. I got a new graphic for it, Tom. That's how much I love Tweet the Table. You use that on Twitter. Hashtag Tweet the Table. I'm at The Awesome Voice. That's at TMAC816, is it? TMAC_816. And we're at Table Show, but just use hashtag Tweet the Table. We'll read them right here. Like at AUC Kata. He says hashtag AEW Dynamite goes by so fucking fast every single week for me. Shows seem like they're 45 to 60 minutes long. Hashtag Tweet the Table.
Oh my goodness. And some of those named AEW Dynamites feel like it goes by quicker than that. When you get your Grand Slams, your I can't even think of some of the other ones here off the top of my head, but the snow one. What's that one?
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming, all of those. Yeah, it feels like it's 30 minutes and you're like, "Wait a minute. I saw all of these wrestlers." Yep. But it's already, 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the one true time zone. Yep. Well,
God's favorite time zone.
Yeah, and we got some God's favorite hot takes here coming soon. But yeah, AEW Dynamite is so much fun. Guess what? I'm going to be going. I got a birthday present early. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. I got a birthday present. I'm going to AEW Dynamite November 3rd.
Nice.
I've never seen Sting before. I'm really hoping I see Sting. As much as, you can say whatever you want about Sting, I'm going to mark out. If he does a Stinger splash, I literally might melt. I really might melt in my seat. My life is complete. I'm done. Like that. Oh, that's all I need. I've met all 5 of my top favorite pro wrestlers of all time, except for Sting. Nice. Sting's number 4 on the list, but I haven't met him.
Yeah, well, maybe you will in good old Independence, Missouri. Right? It's in Independence, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, it's always
America's favorite city.
It's always a coin flip when you go out to Independence on whether or not you're going to make it back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Bad things happen in Independence. Keep your head on swivel. What up?
Hashtag Tweet the Table. Going back out at B-double-D4 says, I feel like Cody doesn't realize he's nowhere near as over as he thinks he is. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Hashtag Tweet the Table. And Tom's got some hot takes.
Liar. He is very over. He is so over. You think of the most iconic moments in AEW. First off, his match with his brother at the pay-per-view. That's one of the moments. You have obviously his dog collar match with Brody Lee. That's a moment. I could keep going. I won't. I think Cody is doing awesome. And as I told you before we started recording, this isn't the appetizer, or this isn't the main course. We're getting the appetizer right now. If you look at Cody's body of work, especially since he's left WWE, where he got over the most was as a heel. So he just did 2 years of like, hey, I'll go do the TNT shows and I'll be the judge on some reality shows. Ha, 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 ha. But now that I got your attention, watch me do my best work. And this is what we're getting up to. And you can't just have one episode, he's wearing the American flag. Next episode, he's giving a crossroads to Arn Anderson. You got to build to it. So this is what we're doing right now. I am thoroughly interested in the Cody Rhodes story. I can't wait till we get back to those days when he was at Impact Wrestling and Brandy was trying to wrestle and he came out and interrupted the match, gave the opponent $5, said it's going to be more money than the booker gives you, tried to stop Brandy from wrestling again. I cannot wait for that Cody Rhodes, and that's what's coming.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Look, Arn Anderson even called him a loser.
But he's not.
But that's what I mean. That's what's going to facilitate the heel turn.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. And I also love, we'll get into well, actually, no, let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
I actually love how Lee Johnson didn't do the like, hey, Arn, I think you're being a little hard. He's like, all right, I guess I'm with Arn.
Yeah.
Like, so,
well, listen,
as we mentioned,
hey, listen, if you were standing there and those two guys were arguing, one of them just told you he's fucking packing. So I'm going to do what that guy says.
I got this guy's back.
He said, let's go. And he didn't say, if you want to. He said, let's go.
Yeah. Well, and then the thing is because we've mentioned this a couple different times of the Cody story is Sean Spears turns on him. He was a best friend. MJF turns on him. He was a protege. QT Marshall. Fuck. Tim.
Shit, QT Marshall again. Oh, dude. We got a late start. I had to run some errands. I left you on the line. We'll get you on next week. QT Marshall, our biggest fan.
Yeah, but he turns on Cody. So now we have the groundwork that says, well, maybe it wasn't the friends at all. It was Cody himself. And that's a story I'm interested in. So for all these people saying that he's AEW surpassed him and all that, no. If any promotion surpassed anyone on TV, it's Tommaso Ciampa in NXT. He's like a sore thumb in like a Skittles diarrhea toilet bowl of bullshit. Like, he doesn't deserve to be in there, but he doesn't feel like he fits at all. Anyhow, that's a different topic. Cody's great. Suck it from the back if you disagree. Love you, B-Double. You're great.
All right.
Tweet the table.
Well, we're going to talk about this a lot tonight before we get into what we want to talk about because WWE had a pay-per-view and at Devil Vamp says, and that is how you do an opening pay-per-view match. Awesome. Just great roller coaster ride. Hashtag Extreme Rules. Hashtag Tweet the Table. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that match. Yeah, fine.
What match?
That was the triple threat, wasn't it? Wasn't that Big E
I don't fucking know.
Or was that the yeah? I forget the order of them now. Let me pull it up. Extreme Rules card. What opened it? Was that the triple threat?
I don't fucking know. I thought the whole thing sucked. I'm gonna be honest with you. WWE has not told an entertaining story in quite some time, and I just get so goddamn indifferent about what the fuck they put on their television. But with that being said, I will respond because, again, we are the voice of the voiceless, and so we want to make sure that you are being heard. And so let's get up this Extreme Rules 2021. The first match here that we got, yes, New Day versus Bobby Lashley, AJ, and Omos. Sure.
Oh yeah, it was the 6-man tag, right?
Yeah, and that's fine. Right? Cool.
Well, yes, and that's going to get you your, like he's saying, right? You open it up, you get the crowd hype, everybody's like, you know what I mean? It's fan favorites. But again, there's just no, I didn't care about this.
Here's what I'll say. This match made me think of is why at his age are we kind of just putting AJ Styles in no man's land? Where it's just like, he's just hanging out.
Let's talk about that.
Omos.
Devil Vamp also says, Xavier Woods and AJ Styles could be twins. They are both super skilled and have all the charisma. Hashtag Extreme Rules. Hashtag Tweet the Table. Now, if New Day, I hate that New Day keeps saying they won't break up because the stories that could come from a New Day breakup are insane.
Well,
but if we did that, right, a program between Xavier Woods and AJ Styles could be fun. I mean, like those guys, the comedy alone could be fun. But again, I don't know that there's no intriguing storyline for me, right?
Well, yeah, we don't know what stories they can tell. I do agree, though. Picture perfect. I get them confused all the time. I'm like,
yeah. It could be twins. Definite twins.
Definitely twins.
Voice sounds the same.
Look, walk, everything. Hairstyle, just picture perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Fit like a hand on glove, those two. But what I will say is just like AJ Styles at this age, why are we fucking around with bullshit? Like, let's use, because he's not getting any younger, and I believe he's 44, 45, and he hasn't had that Hulk Hogan body slam, shoulder tackle style. Let's not fucking waste this by him doing crazy shit with Kofi Kingston. And then all of a sudden, AJ's got to retire. Well, I guess we never got that other championship run out of him. Like, get all this shit out now.
Yeah.
Right?
The New Day breaking up, like if Kofi went on a power trip or something. You know what I mean? Like, can't they?
Well, but here's the thing. I understand what they're saying is like, hey, not every group has to turn on each other. But then do what the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle are doing in AEW, where Sammy Guevara, spoiler alert, wins the TNT Championship from Miro, and Fuego goes out and celebrates with them, right? It wasn't Chris Jericho and Santana and Ortiz and Jake Hager. It was just Sammy and his best friend, because they don't always have to be connected at the hip. That's what I wish the New Day would do, is like, hey, if you're going to separate and you're going to do other stuff, then like, let's see something different, right? Sammy's coming out in different gear. He's not wearing the leather Inner Circle jacket. So like, New Day, you guys keep just doing, hey, I'm by myself, but look at my gear, still says New Day. It's like, well, then fucking do something.
Do something, yeah.
If you're not, yeah, that's my thing, is I don't even want you to break up. But if you're not going to break up, then do something different.
Well, speaking of doing something different, at Mr. Fourth Row says, did anyone catch that WWE Extreme Rules was being sponsored by Rosetta Stone? # tweet the table.
Hey, so we've been spending money. We spent money with Glory Pro sponsoring a match. And so now we spent some money with WWE. We wanted the Spanish-speaking audience and the Spanish announce table to get over a little bit here. So we worked with Rosetta Stone, and you're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I mean, really, what was more entertaining? Hearing the Spanish broadcast over the English broadcast, or the Usos versus the Street Profits?
So I love that it would go away and then it would come back. And I could just imagine like McMahon sitting back in Gorilla and his headphones and like ripping them off and being like, God damn it, that fucking you guys can't get the goddamn fucking, and he's going over and like trying to fix it and fucking shoving, mashing buttons. And then all of a sudden we get the French fucking thing. Like, if it went down any way different, I don't care, because that's how I picture it happening in my head. And that's what I want to believe. I want to see that on Story Time, right? They'll replace the one where they had Ric Flair flashing people on the airport. Oh. That didn't age well.
Allegedly.
Yeah, WWE's like, oh, damn, he did that? Good thing we never put that on Story Time or anything.
Yeah. Who would have known? Who would have known he would have been capable of something like that? It's as if he hasn't been telling us that the entire fucking time of his
We put
career.
it on a kid's show and made it a fucking lovely story about it years ago.
The women loved it, Tim. The women loved it.
Hey, man, Space Mountain. Longest ride, right? Or longest line or something like that or whatever.
Yeah, longest line, oldest ride.
Yeah. Well, yeah. At UC Kata says, thank you, Lily. Crowd should have been chanting, thank you, Charlotte. # Extreme Rules. # tweet the table. And man, I agree. Like, this Alexa Bliss thing can die, right? Like, this character.
Oh, Tim. The whole thing can fucking.
I mean, it's
burn
dead.
out.
I mean,
No. You're not understanding what I'm telling you.
You mean the universe?
The whole fucking thing here. Charlotte, Lily, Eva, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Charlotte, Nikki ASH, Charlotte, Lily, the fucking big girl, what's her name, with the broad shoulders?
Dewdrop.
No, Dewdrop, but I'm talking about the one that stomps all the time.
Nia Jax?
No, that's a brutality. And she stomps.
Rhea Ripley.
No. Fucking burn it all down. There hasn't been a story told that's compelling since Bayley fought Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver. It all fucking sucks. Actually, that's not true. The man with Becky Lynch was pretty cool. But fuck the women's division in WWE. It is so goddamn insulting. This is stupid. Over on SmackDown, that is stupid. It's all stupid, Tim.
It is pretty stupid.
Lily, really? In her hometown, you're going to make her fake cry. And did you catch that she was trying to put something in her mouth and try to like foam at the mouth?
Oh, Jesus.
But it didn't go off?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing? Death, taxes, and if you're a WWE wrestler, you lose in your hometown. Like, what in the shit, man? Burn this all down to the ground. Where's Seth Rollins? Burn it down.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because somebody wants to talk about Seth Rollins, and it's a blast from the past. It's at Lady Undertaker. I think her first tweet the table in maybe 4 years says, when I saw Rollins wearing that silver suit a few weeks ago, I thought it was the Tin Man from Oz. Lol, hashtag tweet the table. And Rollins is leaning into the drip, man. That's I mean, why not? There's nothing else. Might as well do something fun.
Yeah. Did you see this thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the interview he did?
I didn't watch all of it. I've seen about half of it. We'll talk about it coming up in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here, let's talk about it now. I'll do that tweet the table since it's here. It's at AUC Cata says, watching the Seth Rollins episode of Austin's Broken Skull Sessions, so weird going back and watching these clips of The Shield. I don't even recognize the Dean Ambrose character at all. Completely two different people. Hashtag tweet the table. Well, yeah.
I agree. So, two different points here, though. So, let's go back to Lady Undertaker and the drip god and all that. Yeah. I think it's fine. But Stone Cold Steve Austin was like, now you have a character. And I would argue, no, now you just have a
suit.
Look.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, like the suits are cool, but and he even said it's kind of like the crazy preacher guy gimmick that he was doing with Rey Mysterio. I get it, but now
it's just kind of an extension of that, yep.
But now he's like, it can be anything. I'm like, well, if you can be anything, then you're nothing.
Then you're nothing.
Right? That's the thing. Now you're just guy in crazy suits, and I don't take you serious being mean or being fun.
The phrase I heard recently, and I can't remember what it was on something produced, so somebody will know I stole this from something, but it was that, like, if everything is possible, then, like, nothing is real, right? Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think with the Seth Rollins character is the suits are fun, and the suits are really entertaining to show someone who doesn't watch wrestling. Like, look at this crazy guy. But then if he goes, I'm going to, send Edge to the hospital, it's like, really, Tin Man? You're going to be the one that kills Edge. I don't believe you, right? So, like, that's the thing is, like you said, if everything is possible, then nothing is real. And that's kind of how I feel about the current Seth Rollins character. Now, second point.
Yeah.
Cata was saying here. Yeah. Dean Ambrose. Now the hairstyle's changed. His clothes have looked different, but
I don't even remember the Dean Ambrose character. Like, I just know John Moxley, and I know he was John Moxley before, so I feel like I've just now gotten to know John Moxley, and I really don't remember anything about the Dean Ambrose character. Like, I know he was in the Shield, and I know they did some things, and I remember some spots, but, like, right now, as, like, characters in my entertainment viewing history of my life, like, the Dean Ambrose character is almost gone in my, memories. Like, it's just gone.
Yeah, because there have been guys that, go by new names in different promotions. Like, I think of, and all credit to him and rest in peace, but like Big Bubba Rogers when he was in WCW, it's like, no, that's the Big Boss Man. We all know that's the Big Boss Man. Stop it.
It was the same character. It's even when, like, Scott Hall did Razor Ramon, like, he was just Razor Ramon. He just went to his real name, right? They kept it. Kevin Nash and Diesel were the same guy.
But right? John Moxley and Dean Ambrose, where they have some comparison as far as, like, they could go do anything. It's kind of crazy. But John Moxley is just way more authentic, way more real, and way more violent and, like, captivating, and has the charisma that's off the charts, where Dean Ambrose was good and at times really, really good, but it was always walking out with a food cart or sitting on a piece of crap truck or not wanting to get a shot because people stink. And it's like, what? We're grabbing on straws to make you feel relevant here, pal.
All right. We're going back out to Mr. Fourth Row. Hashtag tweet the table. Once again, use hashtag tweet the table. You'll be part of the show. We talk about what you want to talk about. He says, and now a commercial during the entrance of Alexa Bliss. What the hell? Hashtag tweet the table. Yeah.
So I thought initially, if you didn't have the $10 subscription, you would get commercials because you're on the free or $5, right?
Right.
And I still think that's kind of stupid for live events, but okay, right? But I got the $10 fucking thing, and I saw the commercials, and so I'm like, hey,
yeah, that means WWE put that commercial through their computer system, right? Like through their broadcast system. That wasn't Peacock, throwing an ad in. Yeah.
And here's the other thing about streaming services. Look, the purpose of commercials, let me explain television to those who may not know. The purpose of a commercial is that I, as a program, am paying, or you as the network are paying for me to be on your network.
Right.
And then you are going to make that money back by selling advertisement that says, look at the thing I paid for. People want to watch that. Don't they want to see you with it? Yes, right? Now, you take that model out and you go to a streaming service where I get rid of the middleman, which is you, the provider, and I just say, hey, come to me. I don't then charge for fucking ads or play ads because you're poaching us.
Nope,
it's
that's not how they want it. They want it both ways, Tom.
It's dumb.
They want it both ways. Yeah. Of course it's stupid, but it's what makes them more money, and that's what they want to do. And that's what will matter most to everybody and everything, apparently, until we just burn up on this planet. Anyway.
The worst.
Back to the fun stuff. Back to the wrestling. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of, let's talk about COVID. At Katie First Lady says, hashtag head of the table says, wear your mask. Hashtag extreme rules. Hashtag tweet the table.
Why? Why did we have to do that if we knew the precaution is that he has to wear a mask?
Well, and here's the thing, right? The same reason we've tried to urge people to wear masks when they didn't want to, and their argument was like, their argument back was the reason we asked them to do it in the first place is that Roman putting the mask on is way less of an impact for Roman than it is potentially for everybody else around Roman. So, like, the bigger thing he did there was protect the 4 or 5 people from him. I assume you already got tested and know you're negative. You know what I mean? Like, or else you wouldn't be out here doing this today, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the idea of the mask is it's more stopping the shit coming out of your mouth than it is, like, preventing you from sucking in the stuff from people, right? Like, there's way more going on here for you. So, like, again, it just felt like, why go through the whole rigmarole of pulling it out, putting it on to, just don't do that spot there.
Yeah, it's a lot like, and maybe I'm going to out in left field here, but, you know, why not? We're out here late recording this episode, so let's do it. It reminds me of, like, in fiction when, like, Game of Thrones, right? I tried to watch that fucking TV series, but you know what? It's a fictional fucking show, and in the first episode, the brother and sister are fucking. And guess what? You didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
You didn't need to do it, right? And so, like, with this, you don't need to have Roman risk his health and safety and put on a fucking mask and make him look dumb when it's not needed, right? Finn didn't, you know, hurt himself and actually walk into the crowd and we're like, oh, fuck, we got to get Finn back in here. No, that was a planned spot. You didn't have to do. It's so stupid. So is incest.
At AUC Cata says, I cannot stress this enough. It's so damn good to have this Shayna Baszler back. Hashtag tweet the table. And yeah, sure, this Shayna Baszler is better than whatever else they've been doing with her on the main roster. And kudos to, I talked about this, but Nia Jax selling out on the screams for that, whatever they're saying she's doing there, right? Breaking a forearm or something. And Eva Marie tried to duplicate-ish that thing and didn't come as good. But, man, listening to Nia Jax scream like that, I was like, Jesus Christ, did she really break her arm? I was like, something went wrong here.
She might have.
It might have. Yeah, who knows?
Here's the thing. It is cool. I like it. But we saw how it ended the last time with her just getting squashed at WrestleMania. So why do we think that this fucking company led by these fucking knuckle draggers are going to do anything different the second time around? So as cool as it is, I know it's going to be flamed out.
I'll take it further
weeks.
than that. It's because it's these old timers who are convinced that, heavy on the Vince part of that, convinced that, like, I know what the kid, you know, like, I know what wrestling works and we're going to get this turned around and blah, blah, blah. Like, they just won't, like, if this Shayna Baszler thing goes well, you're saying it won't even get to the level of going well. They'll ruin it. I was saying even if it started to take off, they would purposely subvert it because they didn't fucking come up with it. They get their feelings hurt. And, like, if they didn't create the idea and it starts to take over as the number one thing, it's got to stop. They'll purposely fucking sabotage it.
Yeah, if it doesn't go over the way they want, right? So, like, if this is meant to be a heel tactic, but every time she's doing this to Doudrop or whoever it is, we're like, yeah, do it again. Then
so far it's been Nia and Eva, and we've loved it. Right. So, like, but yeah, exactly.
You know where this ends,
yeah.
Tim. You know where this ends.
A job into Charlotte?
Nameless pay-per-view loses to Charlotte. Yep. There it is.
Where, like, doesn't even beat Charlotte for the title. Charlotte just wins clean.
They'll do that stupid championship contenders thing that makes zero fucking sense to beat the champion or to get a championship match, you first have to beat him and then beat him again to become the champion. You've never done that in fucking ever.
Yeah, right. Is this a loser's bracket all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Shayna Baszler.
Is awesome. I love Shayna Baszler. I worked a couple of her fights in Victa. She was roommates with Sharkbait on The Ultimate Fighter. Great person.
I like this conflicted angle where it's just like second by second. Like 1 second she's like, oh fuck, and then the next you see her she's like smiling about it, and then the next she's like, nah, fuck. Like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that, right? Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? She smiles and then we see her in the back like, oh no, what'd I do? Like, it's momentary, like, oh, she's like legit going crazy.
And I like that, right? But again, is that going to last?
Yeah.
And I have no confidence in it, so I kind of don't buy into it.
Well, speaking of lasting and good quality craftsmanship, at Devil Vamp says, what? W-U-T question mark, he said. What? The top rope broke through the entire ring? That's the ending? Okay, sure. Hashtag Extreme Rules, hashtag Tweet the Table. Yeah. It's that it broke, it's that the whole thing came down. Yeah, hey man, if you're the demon, God is all powerful, right? We settled who God's favorite champion is because Miro lost.
And Roman retained.
Roman won out of nowhere. And I'm going to go further. Like, I know, hey, we said this, right? They want to be Marvel light. They want to be a comic book come to life. Finn Balor is dead on the ground. And the lights go red. Okay, sure, right. We did that with The Fiend, right? The lights go red.
Oh,
right,
and Undertaker.
Right. And Undertaker. Lights go out. And we hear a heartbeat, and the lights are flashing. And Finn Balor does whatever the fuck he did to emulate his life. It looked like he's fucking having a seizure on the floor. And Michael Cole knows exactly what that means. It's the demon's heartbeat. He's coming back to life. How did Michael Cole know that? Are you in on the dark arts, Michael Cole? What the fuck?
Well, and then if you caught this, the music starts playing and continues to play until the rope goes out, and then the lights come back on, and then the music stops. What the fuck?
So, like, yeah, he didn't lose consciousness when the rope break. So, like, why did the stuff stop? If he was, like, drawing that power, like, maybe, like, he just got snapped out of it, I guess. Like, can't you float if you can do these things?
Look, Vince and Shane defeated Shawn Michaels and God at Backlash, and God wants his vengeance, and he's going to take it out on the demon.
On the top rope.
On the top rope where everyone's vulnerable. It's a high-risk maneuver, Tim.
Dude, I will give him this. I thought it legit broke because, like, why would I have thought anything else? And I was like, that's fucking funny. Like, all this shit they went through. I was ready to fucking clown on them for, like, you put all this stake into this bullshit, half-ass, like, local community theater version of a demon awakening, and then it all comes crashing down by a rope break. And then I just got pissed when I found out. I was like, oh no, that's what they booked to end the fucking match with.
Yeah, because if it would have broke, you're like, oh man. Even if you like WWE, you're like, oh, that's tough luck, right?
Yeah,
like
poor Finn, right? Like, I feel bad for Finn in that moment. Yeah,
yeah, it's like Eddie Kingston and John Moxley in that death match when it was supposed to be the things and it was a fucking dud, right? You kind of think that, but then, like, to your point, you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't an accident. Oh, I'm mad, and that's how I felt. I was like, this is insulting. Why do I don't like the WWE. Look, tell me a story that's compelling. Hashtag tweet the table. Any fucking story this week that has you interested in what happens on the next program.
And here's what I want to talk to. We keep talking about this because everybody keeps saying, like, well, they're making money and they get the biggest ratings and stuff. Then I'm asking you, the people that watch it, and the people that like it, and the people that would tell us that we're overreacting, what is the compelling storyline? Because if you tell me any of these storylines are compelling, I'm telling you, it's the fact that you're watching without asking questions like we're asking is the reason they still have these ratings, because any other TV program that puts this kind of fucking storylines on is getting canceled before the season ends. They're going to replace it with reruns of something else because these are shit stories. They're easily seeable through or just nonsensical, right? If you can't see through the story, it's because it doesn't make any sense. And so, like, it just doesn't, and they're recycling the same things over and over again. You can't be entertained by the storylines, bar none. I'm saying if you're telling me you're entertained by these storylines, I've got a lot of questions for you about other things in your life because I don't see how. Because, like, if you ask one question that a toddler would ask, all of it falls apart in every storyline. We do it here every week. And that's why we started talking about AEW, because we didn't want to come across as fucking so negative with the WWE talk. Because if I showed this to anybody who didn't, I know immediately if I showed this to somebody who didn't watch, their first question would be this, and I can't answer it. There's a problem. But yet people are telling me that, no, it's fine. Why would you think anything negative of it? I'm like, how can you not? So I need more people to give me feedback on that, right? This is, I'm no longer mad at WWE. It's like you said, like, if they ask you to fucking throw for the Yankees, you're going to be like, of course I'm going to do that. Yeah, but they shouldn't let you. The fans should be mad at the Yankees. Well, so I'm now mad at you guys. Like, tell me what the fuck keeps you tuning in. You have to come to the realization and tell me that it's just because you like seeing flips and shit. Like, that's it. Like,
but
that's
if you
it.
like flips and shit, then go to
Then
AEW,
you should go to somewhere else. Yeah. Like, I just don't even get
Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. Yeah. The stories are insulting. It makes me mad to the point where I wish I could talk to someone. I almost feel like a Karen where I'm like, I need to speak with the manager because this is bullshit.
We need Dr. Shelby. I think I called it Dr. Stewart. The last time it was Dr. Shelby. Yeah. We need Dr. Shelby here.
But like, if this was a meal, I must be hungry here, but like, if this was a meal that was presented to me, I would look at it. I would look at the waiter or waitress and I'm like, I need to talk to your manager. This is bullshit. Like, I'm not consuming this. It's like, get me someone so I can talk to. Like, that's how I feel about WWE. Yeah. It's so it's mean. It's mean to the audience. Yeah. That's how they are. They're so bad.
I saw a joke when I was researching jokes online and it said, this person's favorite lotion is person's favorite lotion scent is chamomile because it has the word meal in it. Right. Oh right? All right. So anyway, WWE fans, what the fuck, right? All right.
What the fuck? And look, before we go on, we could poke holes in AEW too, right? But we would have to ask a little bit more questions than the fucking thing that we're having.
Well, and I think they're built on better foundations. Even if they're looser with less substance, they're at least more sensical foundations. Yep. Mm-hmm. Anyway, at BDD4, final one we got tonight of Tweet the Table says, Lio Rush is in AEW. Wait, didn't this already happen? Didn't he retire? What the? Well, I don't even care anymore. Hashtag Tweet the Table.
And here's the thing that I would say to whoever booked this segment is you knew people were going to say, especially your audience, was going to say that, right? Mm-hmm. So you should have addressed the elephant in the room right from jump, right? You could have said, hey, I'm Lio Rush. I was going to retire because my heart wasn't in it. But then I saw Kenny Omega as champion. And I said, that guy can't be a champion for the number one organization in pro wrestling. Okay, you're back, right? Or if you wanted to say a heel, say the same fucking thing about Bryan Danielson, right? You could have said it, whatever, right? But that you just completely bypass the, he said he was retired. Nope, no, he's not. And come out with the fucking pyramid scheme gimmick.
Which, isn't that what Matt Hardy's doing? I mean, Matt Hardy's more doing the, sleazy sports manager, but...
that's apples to apples here. Like, you're still being a sleazy guy that's stealing money from people. You're just trying to do it in a pyramid scheme.
You're trying to be a less funny Cameron Grimes?
Yeah, well, but Cameron Grimes was just, I want money. Like, I don't really care about you.
Yeah.
Lio Rush is saying, give me your money. I can make millions. And it's like, what? That's what it was at least implied.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I think you're right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing. I'll say it every time they've added a new wrestler since Bryan Danielson. The only fucking hires in AEW needs to be behind the camera, not in front. We already have Andrade as just like hey, go over to AAA. Just go wrestle there. You had one match with us with Pac. Fuck it. Go back. Just go to AAA.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Come on. You know?
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So that was Tweet the Tables. Please do that. Use hashtag Tweet the Table on Twitter. We'll read them right here. We'd love to hear what you have to talk about. You'll meet folks who are also interested in the same things you are. Community will grow. And you'll get to watch us and you'll get to look at Effie's belt.
Hey, and by the way, it's good to see, you know, more of those legacy hashtag tweet the table people like Lady Undertaker. And if you're newer to hashtag tweet the table, there you go. You can make a new connection with someone who you may not know.
Speaking of Lady Undertaker, so I saw the tweet come across from Lady Undertaker, and I was like, wait a minute, Lady Undertaker, I remember that name. I know she used to hashtag tweet the table. So I did the quick Twitter search and saw it was like 4 years ago, right? Now, we haven't always used hashtag tweet the table as a major portion of our show, so that's, you know, understanding. That's why we're trying to rebuild it now. But I did see in those tweets, Lady Undertaker, if you're watching or listening now, get back at us. You used to, and I don't know if it's still true, you used to detest Roman Reigns. So I need to know if now that this new Roman Reigns is out, right, the heel Roman Reigns, the head of the table, tribal chief, all that, are you still hating Roman Reigns? Is that holding true, or have you turned the corner? Get back at us. Use that hashtag table again.
I want to hear that. I want to know. Hey, so let's talk before we get out of here, because we were a little bit too negative, I feel like. But, hey, it was kind of justified. But let's go into some of the fun stuff, and let's go back to AEW, because that's where the fun stuff happens.
It's so fun. It's so goddamn fun, Tom. Every time I turn on AEW, like, a smile just comes on my face because I know there's going to be something fun, and they always deliver. I'm never left like, oh, is this the fun thing? Like, they come out of the gate with the fun stuff. Then they, like, fucking come, like, when you're like, that was fun, and you get hit in the head again with, another fun stuff. It's just so great. And then there's some unexpected fun stuff.
Yeah, it's the best. It makes me feel like a kid.
Fun stuff. It's the name of this episode.
It makes me giddy. Yeah, it makes me giddy. I want to share this information with non-wrestling fans. Like, I'm like, hey guys, so Bryan Danielson, and like, who the fuck? I'm like, I got to tell you about who he is. Let me start with the independent scene in 2002, Ring of Honor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes me want to share this. I get happy telling people. I become like an evangelist for AEW because of how happy it makes me.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that way since like Taz as the FTW champion in ECW. Like that was probably the last, Daniel Bryan in WrestleMania 30. That made me like, hey, everyone should watch this. But that was like out of spite because fuck the McMahons, right? Anyhow, fun. Let's get back to fun. So there's two big stories out of AEW Dynamite. One was a little bit somber. We went to Rochester, New York. Unfortunately, Brody Lee obviously has passed away. That is his hometown. We did somewhat of a tribute show to Brody Lee here. We did some Dark Order stuff. We had Tay Conti and Anna Jay do some stuff. -1 came out. That was the big, portion of the show. But I think moving forward, the big news is that we have a new TNT champion. Sammy Guevara, as I mentioned earlier, beat Miro for the TNT championship. Tim, what did you think about that move?
I was surprised by that move. Honestly, like I knew at some point somebody had to beat Miro, but I would have thought it would have been a longer storyline and we would have seen it coming maybe. And so I like the move. I like the idea that like we're going to put Sammy. I think Miro helped elevate this title a lot. And so now Sammy's getting a hell of a push out of this, and to beat him clean. You know what I mean? Like in the ring, like he didn't have somebody come in and give him all that, you know what I mean? Like we just kicked him in the balls when the ref wasn't looking. Sammy G pulling down them titles, man.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm optimistic because I hope for as good as Miro did, and Miro, look, he's my favorite TNT champion in recent memory.
Yes.
I know there hasn't been too many of them, but his TNT run was my favorite.
Yes.
And so with that being said, I'm hoping, hey, Sammy Guevara, it was announced next week, will take on Bobby Fish, who's Bobby Fish is with MLW, so the Forbidden Door's open.
Which is fun. Great.
Right, that's going to be
fun.
They
have to do a walk-by between Cole and Fish, right?
And Cole. You would think so.
Damn it, they have to.
You would think so. But I'm excited that hopefully this means Miro now gets to move up the card and maybe do some flirting with CM Punk. Or he gets to wrestle Jon Moxley, or it's Bryan Danielson. That's what I'm excited about. I think Sammy Guevara is going to do great. I think his promo skills will get better as he becomes champion and his title defenses. But I want Miro to go up that card.
I just do not want to lose this Redeemer character for a while. I want that to stay. He said, I like to celebrate, or I think he said I like to celebrate with my God up high and my wife down low. Jesus Christ, dude. He had so many fucking one-liners, but still felt like like he was delusional to believe the one line. You know what I mean? Like they're funny, but it was like if you laughed in his presence, he would fucking rip your throat out. You know what I mean?
Well, because because it was delivered not funny. It was like it was like, this is what I like to do. I like to praise my God, and I like to have sex with my wife.
It's like a guy who's like, I like to kill a deer with my bare hands and have sex with my wife. You'd be like, that's really funny that you said that, but like I need to like leave now.
Yeah, because like everything that he said wasn't meant to be funny, but it was funny because they're like, you're a psychopath. That is insane of what you just said. Those words together made me uncomfortable. I'm hoping that we see Miro CM Punk. That is my hope. I want Miro CM Punk, and I want Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. Those are the matchups I want to see with the big time name guys and some other ones. And I know Miro was a WWE guy, so you're doing WWE, but I don't really feel like Miro and CM Punk ever really got to bump into each other too much. So I want to see that. I also want to see Adam Cole and CM Punk, because I don't think they've ever wrestled. At least I don't think so. Maybe they did on Independent. But
this whole focus on Kenny Omega has like, and the Elite, and like we got all hyped up for the Hangman thing, and then it kind of like disappeared, and then like AEW, like everybody was focused on like it was the Hangman storyline, and then all of a sudden that like disappeared. But I think what like made everybody be like, oh no, that disappeared was like, it was like, oh yeah, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, right? Yeah. So now it's kind of like, okay, so that's settled. Right, that's settled back down. Where do we go from here? Because like I just started thinking like, what do we? Because we have this ranking system. I don't know that we have this like who's a clear cut main eventer level folks, right? Like who are we? So yeah, I mean like Miro's one of those guys now, right? Like he's gonna be a guy who would go in and challenge for those titles, and like I mean it'll be interesting to see where they start going with these folks now that like Hangman's gonna have to come back. Like what do we do here now? The storylines are gonna have to get.
Yeah, and that's an interesting conversation to have is, so Hangman comes back, where do you put him on the card? Do you go right back into the Kenny Omega, hey, I'm going after that title? Or do you go with the Dark Order, hey, what the hell happened while I was gone? Do you go into, hey, Hangman and Adam Cole used to be friends on BTE. Now what the hell? Because Hangman used to be tight when Adam Cole was there, and now he's not. Are they going to become friends? Because, we got some fun stories. Imagine that. Hangman is the one to get Adam Cole to see the light. Adam Cole turns on the Elite. That would be fun. That would be fun. But we'll see. I'm just interested in, where all of these main eventers go. And, eventually it's going to get full, and WWE is going to say, hey, we'll take some of your guys. I think a Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian might head over. I think a Brian Cage might head over. I think a Bear Country might head over. I don't know. AEW is awesome. So much fun.
Other Dynamite topics, or do you want? I got the Rampage card up to talk about what's going to happen tomorrow night on Rampage. If you want to get into some of these stories.
Yeah, real quick before we do that though, we talked about Cody. We talked about Miro and Sammy Guevara. We talked about Adam Cole and Jungle Boy. We kind of touched on that. That was an amazing match. But what did you think about CM Punk on commentary? I thought he was the best guy of the four.
I like CM Punk on commentary, especially when he doesn't have the motive of like, active storyline. Like he, discussed the Bryan or the Team Taz thing, but like, when he's able to just kind of be a guy watching wrestling, great. I would enjoy more of that. I like the rotating guest idea that you don't always have to force. Like sometimes they're not there, but like frequently you'll have wrestler or manager or whatever there for the night, right? Like just kind of hanging out. I like that, different perspectives, and you get those kind of different chemistries and stuff like that. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, and CM Punk is doing so well on commentary. Unlike Chris Jericho did great during the pandemic because he gave energy to a spot that didn't have energy. But now that crowds are back, he's a little bit too over the top for me, just being transparent. Yeah. CM Punk, though, rides that right in the middle kind of energy that I like, where he can get up if it needs to be, but he can stay where he should be. He's not getting any younger. I wouldn't mind if he kicks old JR out of his spot and we get Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and CM Punk.
So what do you think? The Dark Order thing, they hugged, they did whatever, but I have no beliefs that like they're just happy family again, right? Like,
I do.
You think so? You think that's how they resolved that storyline?
I think.
You think that was there to set that up?
Yeah, I think the whole thing was to set up -1, throw in the papers, and then
Which we
Brody's
said,
wife.
but I would have done it in a way cooler spot, right? Like in the backstage thing where he can go off instead of just this like we're standing in the ring, right?
Yeah. Now, Evil Uno still could go sideways and do some fun stuff.
He is
which I think
evil.
would be cool. He is evil. But I think we're done. As I mentioned earlier, where does Hangman play in all of these stories? Because he left a lot of loose ends.
Well, and where does Bray Wyatt hang? Because listen, hear me out. I hear people. Well, no, but hear me out. I hear people are saying like, we say this: AEW needs nobody else in front of the camera. They need him behind the camera. Bray Wyatt and his ability to now get a character over is not going to get enough money and TV exposure from places like Impact Wrestling, from MLW, from those things. So we can cut those the fuck out of the table, right? Like he's a top earner guy now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I could see where he could go.
Where?
Go to New Japan.
New Japan would be the only other thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, but I don't know if he's then. I mean, yeah, he could probably put up merch numbers over there in Japan like he would over here in the United States. So if it's not AEW, it almost has to be New Japan. If I'm just from a money perspective in my brain behind the curtains with Wyndham Rotunda, who's got fucking 17 kids now by 4 balls or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think he might only have 2. I don't know. Yeah. But like, hey man, like Impact Wrestling could probably pay him the salary just because Impact's owned by Anthem and blah, blah, blah. But like, they're not getting the TV money that would give him the like merch exposure that he would with AEW or New Japan. Like if he creates another character where they're gonna have all those fucking, you know what I mean, like things they can sell, like shirts, fucking things, blah 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 blah. Like Impact Wrestling ain't doing that.
Well, but Impact Wrestling has the working relationship with Pro Wrestling Tees, and so they could handle that part. If I'm booking it, I'm saying the exposure to get people that will watch it and want to buy it is not there. Impact Wrestling numbers are fucking shit. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think he's the guy that's going to be like, everybody now needs to find and make sure they're tuning Impact. He's just going to get forgotten there. And I hope he knows that.
Yeah. Like Big Kaz, you know, he's over there in Impact. I forgot.
So I know we say things like they don't need people in front, but like if I can look at that AEW roster and I'd trade a bunch of times. I could find many groups of 3 people that I'd trade for a Wyndham Rotunda to be on AEW at this point. Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand wholeheartedly what you mean. I just don't want it. I just almost like, Rampage should be a 2-hour show. And, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like we should maybe, you know what I mean? Like have a couple, I don't know. They don't need another brand, but like, I don't know. I just think they're good. Just stop. But here's the thing that we need to keep in mind is these top name guys, they're not young, right?
Right.
CM Punk's not young. Christian Cage is not young.
And that's
Sting
it. Like Punk's going to
young.
wrestle 12 times a year, I think they said. So he's not like, you know, we don't have the worry of like he's getting every storyline every week and everything necessarily, right?
But I'm saying like they have an older roster. So a Bray Wyatt would fit in as far as that. I just don't look. Send him over to New Japan, have him fucking wrestle Great Muta, have Great Muta do his fucking cool shit with the green mist, have Bray Wyatt do his shit with the cool lights, and fucking fight each other, and make me like that, open the forbidden door, have him fuck with Cody, go back to New Japan, and that's what we got.
So, but here, for money, which again, if he's doing this for money, which I gotta think he probably is.
Oh, yeah.
In America, like, is where it's at, and it's television. It's access to television and named the TNT or what it's going to be TBS banner is going to be way better than Access TV, and it's going to be way better than, you know what I mean? Like, so I just like
I know.
To me, they've elevated themselves so fast that they've become the true number 2. Like if we had a tier of wrestling companies, like they're in the top tier now, and so top tier guys are going to go to one of these places.
They're number 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes.
They're gonna be number 1.
I don't doubt it. Yeah,
we're talking about AEW like we would be talking about WWE in 1996.
Yeah, I am
number 1.
I don't disagree with you. I think they're gonna continue to have this talent exodus. The only thing that's gonna save WWE in that regard is being able to throw money at some folks.
Yeah,
but I mean, AEW could do that if they wanted to. I don't know if he'll do it. You know what I mean? Like it's
then. Oh man, yeah. Now I almost want to play like like as if these were my like action figures. Like, okay, you're gonna hand me Bray Wyatt, well then I'm getting rid of Aleister Black or Malachi Black. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, trust me, yes. Now, what I would do too is I would put more storylines on Dark and Elevation and have things go through there and push that kind of stuff. Because you're right, like you can't flood it too much with stuff. Like it's a delicate balance, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Would you be open? You know, let's go old school WCW, how it used to be back in the day, which we always pine for, right? Oh my God, it was so great when I was a kid. You know? Well, one of the things that they did was they had a Saturday morning show, right? And it was in Universal. Well, that looks a lot like Dark. What if you put Dark on TNT on a Saturday morning? Do you think then it would be treated as if it now needs storylines and things like that instead of the YouTube show where it's just, hey, we got 10
Yeah, I don't know, because those same things, the thing you're talking about with like the Saturday morning thing, it wasn't really rife with storylines either.
It wasn't.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know.
Because that's the thing is I don't think talent like an Adam Cole would go to Dark because YouTube is not television.
Yeah.
But then I just don't know what you do.
So, and that's a changing landscape too, right? Cable TV is an older thing, but there's still a lot of them. They're still going to be around for decades. So, you know.
Well, and with that being said, television, it is changing, right? We are all going to different streaming services and stuff, but the money for live television that networks are willing to pay, that's why Major League Baseball, the attendance has been down in the last 10 years. But if you look across the board, they're the highest paid athletes because of all the networks throwing money at Major League Baseball because of all the 181 games.
With this Bray Wyatt thing, or, you know, it's Wyndham Rotunda. We don't know what name he's going to show up with when he gets here, right? Husky Harris. But like, to the AEW side, like they would just be throwing away money to not take him. He's going to print them money. They're going to get that huge response like they've gotten with everybody else. Everybody's going to talk about how great they are. It's one of these where they realize they're like, get it now, but I am worried about like you're kind of biding your time until you have to like do something with these folks. Yeah. Right? Like,
And that's my point with Andrade earlier. He does the segment backstage with the Lucha Bros where he's like, hey, I want those AAA championships, which again, just by premise doesn't make sense to me. You're an AEW. They're the AEW Tag Team Champions. Why don't you go after the AEW Tag Team Championships? But whatever. And then that's Andrade, right? 3 months ago, that was the big signee. And now he's just
nothing. So now let's talk about like the idea of Impact, right? And people are like, well, he fits better on Impact because they do more of those like spooky supernatural stuff. But that's the problem. That's one of the reasons I don't watch it. Is because it's too much of that stuff, right? Like they do it too often. Too much, and I don't want it. And so, like, it's okay when it's a character, and I'm seeing, like, a character go up against another, you know what I mean? Like, and that's, like, he's a twisted supernatural, maybe this one isn't, or once in a while you get the two supernatural ones, but, like, if the whole show's themed that way, well, that's like a, you know, that's almost Lucha Underground-esque, where it's just kind of like, it's a different niche, and I don't know that for a guy, we've got too many top guys right now is what we've got, I think, right? For two companies, there almost needs to be a third one. So yes, Impact Wrestling would be great if they could go over there and make that like a viable, you know, equal third option, but you're not going to do it on Access TV tucked away where it is. Like if it's not a Fox or a USA or a TBS or one of these bigger things, it's not going to happen. And that programming that you're talking about there, the supernatural stuff with fucking Sami Callihan able to teleport or whatever the fuck he is, isn't going to make Fox and TBS at fucking whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't see it as a viable option. So yeah, if he's not showing up in New Japan, it's AEW or it's back to WWE and they've worked something out.
That's an interesting, man, we're having some good conversations here to wrap up the episode, because that's also another thing is there's too many top guys. And I think the reason is because now guys with the advancement of science and technology and information, they're prolonging their careers. A CM Punk in the 1990s is either dead or on his third retirement tour.
Edge,
you know what I mean?
Edge wrestling again is unheard of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
Christian's not coming back. Kenny Omega and all of his injuries might not even be around today if we're back in the 90s, early 2000s. So that's the thing is all these guys are prolonging their careers, and you're like, yeah, I love Punk, I love Christian, I love Edge, and you're like, okay, but now we have this 24-year-old, right, who's killing it, and we want to push him to the moon. But we can't because now this guy's money dictates he has to be in the main event picture. So what do we do? Yeah, that's a hard thing to do.
I'd almost rather get a 1-hour show 5 nights a week than I would
Oh yeah.
The 2 and 1, right? Like if you want to sneak in 2 extra hours of content, you give me one because then I can catch that up later. I don't have to watch it live every night. But yeah, you're going to lose live viewers probably that way because it's not an event-based thing then at that point.
I would just put more emphasis on either Elevation or Dark as a storyline for Abaddon and Kip Sabian and Bear Country.
You don't have to have
Brian
separate
Pillman
brands,
Jr.
but I can understand that like this is the minor leagues here. You know what I mean? Like, and we're doing stories of them over there, and some are going to sneak up as they do well there, and some are going to go back down, right? Like the way NXT was intended to be, right? Like where we thought this idea of like, this guy's doing really well here, let's move him up to the main roster so they could treat Dark Elevation Dynamite as a stair step. You know what I mean? Like,
but I wouldn't. I understand what you mean, and backstage I would do that, but what I would do, this is fun conversation, I like this.
Yeah.
What I would do is keep it as is to the viewer. Dark, I would say Elevation is different. That is the like, hey, we're just putting people on because let's be honest, it's before or after Dynamite, whatever, right? But Dark is at the Universal Studios, so that show is obviously third, but with that Dynamite or that Rampage and Dynamite, those are 3 shows that we're putting emphasis on. But what I think we should do is you have Dark, and let's say it's Brian Pillman Jr., right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes down there, he's getting better. He has a gimmick that comes over that people are loving on YouTube. Numbers are going out of the roof. He gets a cool match with Eddie Kingston on Dynamite, gets a 3-month program, but he obviously is still green. So then we send him back to Dark. He keeps doing his thing, but we can just
kind of like the call-ups, right? Like
but the whole thing with like NXT that I always hated is like, okay, we're calling up Samoa Joe. That means he can't.
No, but like with like minor league baseball, like they'll call you up, but you might go back in 2 months. You know what I mean? Like they just needed you for a while because the guy went down, right?
And if you're Hangman Adam Page and you've been out for a while, you do your rehab assignments on Dark. So you make your splash on Dynamite, but you do some of your matches on Dark.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like I can know that like when I watch Dark, like it's the lower tier, if you will, right? Like it's the undercard, if you will. But we're gonna see just like it. So if you're running the UFC and you've got your big UFC fight night, but you've also got the next night you've got the B-Town and you know, whatever, but you might have a big name fighter to draw people into the tickets, but they're going to fight the up and comer bum, you know what I mean, who they'll probably beat and that kind of stuff. So they get to see some talent, but somebody got some training, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. Treat it the exact same way, which they yes, they kind of do that, but I think the storylines are missing.
That's what I'm saying. You could have Hangman do his first initial big splash, storyline coming back. He's on Dynamite. He's killing it. But now he's stuck in no man's land. So what does he do? Well, he goes down to Dark and he wrestles, who am I thinking of here? I'm trying to think of some bad heels here. Oh goodness, who would be someone?
Well, here's a good heel for you, Tom.
Wardlow. He wrestles Wardlow, for example.
In the chat, Theo75 says, "Oh, what a shock! T-Mac is back after being rejected by that bootleg Spanish Announce Table from America's Hat, and he's back with the real Spanish Announce Table podcast."
Yeah,
you didn't go up there and try to join the Canadian Sat Pod, did you? Right?
No.
Right? You wouldn't do that to me, would you?
No.
You really went on vacation, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. You wouldn't lie, right, about that?
No.
No, eh? Right.
No.
As he drinks a Labatt's Blue.
Yeah, by the way, I love Canadian bacon.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Big fan of pouring maple syrup on his fucking
so great.
All right, hey, Rampage is tomorrow night. We do this Thursday nights for everybody. Let's talk about some of these
let's
right
get
here.
into it.
We've got a no DQ match. Nyla Rose, Jade Cargill, Thunder Rosa.
Oh, fire! How fucking awesome is that?
There's gonna be some hard blows. People are gonna be on the outside. There's gonna be some blood in this one.
Oh, someone's tits popping. It is gonna be really.
Someone's gonna tear a tit.
That is what's gonna happen.
Someone's gonna tear a tit.
Jade Cargill has to go over though, right?
Yes. Yeah, because look, again, Nyla Rose, I think, is on one of those where, like, hey, you had the green light for a while, now you get the yellow, right? You're going to do some work. But you're established, but you're going to help put some people over. Thunder Rosa, kind of the same thing, right? Like, we spotlighted you for a while. We may give you another run, but I don't think it's at the expense of Jade Cargill. So, no, Jade Cargill. Unless Jade Cargill doesn't have to take this loss, right?
Right. Thunder Rosa beats Nyla Rose. Thunder Rosa then says, Britt Baker, I'm coming after you. Jade Cargill says she's undefeated.
Or that's how we get Jade Cargill's like, no, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got
those
to, you
two
know what I
off.
mean? Like, I'm the turn your punch bowl because you didn't beat me. And then, you know, we get a little mini thing before. And then D&D can be like, well, whatever, you two fucking figure it out. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just laugh at him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But that's a hell of a match. I'm excited
Yeah.
for that one.
We also got Bryan Danielson versus your favorite, Nick Jackson.
God, I hope he kicks the fucking dye off of his beard.
I saw somebody. It's not one of our regulars, right? This is a person I don't even know who the hell it was. It was on Twitter, and I didn't catch what their name was. So shout out to you if this was you. I'm going to shit on you. You said in response to this that this has been one of your dream matches for years. Bryan Danielson versus one half of the Young Bucks? No, it wasn't. Who the fuck's sitting here dreaming of a Bryan Danielson versus Nick Jackson, right? Like you selectively picked one of the Young Bucks to face Daniel Bryan is your match that you daydream about? I don't believe that.
No.
No.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. But yeah, that's not a dream match.
That is not a dream match.
You put Punk with Bryan Danielson, and then you put the Young Bucks. Okay, I can
Somebody's
buy,
dream match, maybe.
Yeah, I can buy you saying that, but yeah, not one half of the Young Bucks and Bryan Danielson. Yeah, that's
my dream match.
What's your
was
main event?
Hulk Hogan versus Luke Bushwhacker. Okay, not the same level of tag teams.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll give you that, but yeah.
Same. Hey, I'm still doing.
Hey, they'll
this,
probably
right?
come out. The Young Bucks will probably do that next week. That's what they love to do. Somebody else's shit. All right, and then so Bryan Danielson wins, right?
Oh yeah.
Unless there's shenanigans with the Elite.
Nah, I think Bryan Danielson. No, well, yes.
Adam Cole could cost him or something or whatever, you know.
Yeah, because next week on Dynamite, I think they're doing Bryan Danielson, Christian Cage, and Jurassic Express versus the whole Elite. So yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah. But Bryan Danielson will be the clear-cut better wrestler, whether or not he wins the match, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then a hair versus hair match, Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy. And this one's tough for me because Orange Cassidy's almost nearly bald anyway, so if he gets shaved and he's just like, we don't really care, it doesn't hurt the character, it doesn't really shame him much, we almost feel bad for the guy. But Matt Hardy is the kind of guy that'll fucking...
It's not Matt Hardy that's going to lose his hair. Matt Hardy put Jack Evans.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He put Jack
line.
Evans' hair. So it's going to be Jack Evans.
Yes. And Jack Evans, I did some research. He was bald in Ring of Honor for a while.
Yeah,
He wore like a bandana and stuff. So he can go back to that look. Yeah, Jack Evans is.
God, that's right. I forgot. He put somebody else up. That's right. Because it's fucking
great, though.
Yeah, of course.
Because then he'd be like, no, I'm still going after that hair. It's you versus Angelico. Hair versus hair. He just keeps on putting... You and Private Party.
So yeah, man, Rampage. I love Rampage, man, for that same reason. Like, it's quick, it's in, it's out. You get like 3 matches, but like there's still generally a storyline or 2 in there.
Matt Hardy should have done a hair versus hair match. Him, Orange Cassidy versus the Blade, who's already bald. He should that should be
like,
someone's
I picked the
gimmick.
Blade, and the Blade would have been like,
I'm bald. He's like, it's hair versus hair. Okay, I'll shave. A bald guy should do that. Hair versus hair. Like, I'm growing it out for a week. And then, me versus you. I think that'd be funny.
Yeah, he just grows out his little skull.
Right, yeah.
And then Effie won the Internet Championship. Matt Cardona's 10-year reign as the Internet Champion.
And Matt Cardona, right when you thought he was done with GCW, comes back and goes after another fan favorite. Right when you think, hey, maybe he's going to try it out, win over the fans, and take on, Ricky Shane Page or one of those heels. Nope, I'm doubling down. I'm going after your other favorite, Effie. Fuck these guys. Like, it's so great.
So great. And it's the Internet. I love that he's like, all right, you beating for that title? I got my own fucking title. Right? And he loses it right away. Like, God damn it.
So great. I love it.
Yeah, I love everything Matt Cardona's doing and all the spotlight he's bringing. And GCW, credit, again, they go to the coolest fucking places.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I tell you what, we're talking about matches on, Rampage and upcoming Dynamites and pay-per-views and all the other stuff. One of the matches I cannot wait for is October 9th, GCW champion Jon Moxley taking on MDK all fucking day, Nick Gage.
All fucking day.
Woo. Someone might die, and I'm going to watch it.
It's going to be a bunch of fun stuff. And
I can't wait.
Yeah, unless you got anything else, man, maybe we'll end this fun stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Damn.
Bye-bye.
All right, later.
The Spanish announce table.